Hello there, YouTube. I am Wheelchair21, and on today's rolling review, we will be looking at S.H.Figuarts Shinkocchou Seiho Kamen Rider W CycloneJoker Extreme. Now, the series is called Kamen Rider W because the way they pronounce W in Japan is just straight up double. They don't even end it with U. It's just double. Makes no sense, but as everyone can see, it has the beautiful box art that most Seihos have. Pretty simple and basic, very collector-esque kind of scheme. And as you can see from the box art, it has a new type of elongated scarf, which the original figure art didn't really have. As usual, the Seiho features a double-layered box, which first presents you with your figure, and then the accessories. As I said, you have your regular scarf, your additional elongated scarf, 5 pairs of additional hands, and for the first time ever, 2 guy memories, the Joker and the Cyclone guy memory. Now, the original figure art could not exchange guy memories, but what you could do was actually take the belt itself off, the driver off, and switch it between the various forms. This time, however, you can actually switch out little miniature guy memories, just like the Forze Astro switches, and could lead to a lot of people losing these parts. Upon removing Seiho Double from its box, one can immediately see that the overall design is so much smoother and realistic to the actual suit than the original. The original gave a very anime-like vibe, having longer horns for its W, as well as having a slimmer body design and using highly metallic paints, which were darker shades of green, actual gold, and purple. Now, the purple actually looked a lot better on the original, but this more metallic and matte-like paint is very elegant nonetheless. I really do enjoy the overall aesthetic of what the double suit looks like, and is grand. As one can see, like I said, the horns are more accurate to the actual helmet, and look amazing. Now, I call them horns even though they're supposed to be antennae, but they're more horns. They're like V-fins, like on a Gundam. And that makes a lot of people also like this because of the reference to Schwartz Bruder. The compound eyes are elegant and beautiful. And honestly, if there was a way to make an LED head, I would overly wish to have that, just because I like a lot of the suits when they light up. Now, the double driver is probably one of the best aspects we have on the Seiho edition, as it's nicely painted to look a lot like the deluxe toy. The guy memories are easy to insert and remove and be able to put into your freaking maximum drive slot to allow a finisher. Problem is, because they're so small and tiny, they can easily get lost and easily fly out without you knowing. This is similar to the issue several have had with the Astro switches back during the Forze line. Now, the body also has a few new good aspects to it, being a Seiho, is that the green side now has freaking actual green joints for its elbows and its knees, which a lot of people were heavily OCD over back in the original first issue of the Seiho. Now, its points of articulation are practically the same for most figure arts and most Seiho figure arts in general. However, the irony would be that my Joker leg and knee is very tight, but its elbow is actually smooth and loose, whereas Cyclone's knee is very loose and elbow is tighter. I don't understand it. It's obviously probably a manufacturer's flaw, and I can't really complain. Now, one thing I don't like is I've immediately noticed that this one does share the one flaw that the original double figure arts ever had, was their anklets and wrist joints get popped off the little pegs that hold them in place on the forearms and ankles and get very loose. The only one right now that is the loosest is the right leg, and it annoys the hell out of me. Upon removing it, it just pisses me off. Like, I'm trying to get it back all the way up on the ankle and more around the the bottom tip here of the calf to make sure it stays tightly on and doesn't really bother me when I'm posing it. And the cool thing is even though it is a little bit looser, I can at least show people that the ankle joint uses a more vintage-like figure ankle joint that we've seen, like, years ago with early Figuarts. The last piece that I really have to get into is the wonderfully resculpted scarves, which are beautiful and even shinier than before. I mean, just look at the gleam on this silver paint scheme. They are still quite rubbery. They're not as soft as the original ones were, but really work effectively. It's on almost like a Figma or Revoltech-like pin joint, which allows one to rotate and swivel it whichever way they need. This way is to have it when it's blowing in the wind, and this way is to have it when you want to just have it setting over his shoulder casually as he's walking around. Overall, the double mold is superb. It's evaluation time, and for my final evaluation, Seiho Double is a Figuart one needs in their collection. Hell, any Shinkocchou Seiho figure is one that should be in anyone's collection. The Seihos are elegant, and probably the most fine-tuned Figuarts ever made, and practically encompass what the suits were on screen, as well as have accessories that allow them to be more screen accurate. Now, this scarf here is an amazing display piece. My only problem is it does throw off the balance ever so slightly for the figure, to which I would need a Tamashii stage just to keep it standing. It does knock it over, it causes it to fall down, and I'm just not going to take that chance of it causing the antenna, or the V-fins, or the horns to break off my helmet of the figure, and so I'm not going to display it ever, really, unless I get the new hard boiler. Now, I would like to see FangJoker made, as well as the CycloneJoker Extreme, or CycloneJoker Gold Extreme made, just because it'd probably be badass. Hell, I would even get the Heat formations for Heat Joker and Heat Metal, just because Heat's also a really cool combination. It's actually probably one of my main guy memories to use out of the 6 basic ones Double initially had at the start of the show. So, where would this Figuart rank in this Seiho collection, in my personal opinion? I think this is probably in the top 5. Next to Hibiki, Decade, Kuga, and Agito. And that's just where I think it should be. Now, there's only about 6 riders, I think, actually in the Seiho line, so there's not really much to compare them to at this time. Nevertheless, I'm Wheelchair21, and you can purchase this item most likely at places like CS Toys Japan, Hobbylink Japan, and Ami Ami when they restock. It's a shoo-in that it should be restocking sometime in 2017 or early 2018, because Seihos kind of get reissued very slowly compared to some of the more regular Figuarts in the line. You can also follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, as well as check me out over on Instagram, and always at Hirotaku, Hero Club, and now Henshin Justice.